Okay, here we go. We're walking into the house, and as you notice, I'm on the carport. It's a single carport, and as you go in this door that goes into the foyer and the kitchen and the utility room, and you go back this way, there's another entrance. This is to the front door. So I'll back up a little bit so you can see. This is the carport. There's the front porch. Okay. And again, as I said, here's the front door. Very few people ever use this, and we're hoping to redo it. We need to redo the posts because we're having some rot on it, and we're going to probably kick out all the spools, all the little boards or whatever you call those, and just make it more open. Okay. And we hope to patch. We've got some cracks that need to be patched and repainted. And then we've got these rockers that they look pretty rough right now, but we're going to redo those a little bit, and I hope to put those on the front porch. Okay, here we go into the kitchen now. Now as you walk in the door, you're going to notice the first thing that you see is a big black side-by-side refrigerator, just kind of out in the open. And as you notice, I've got junky storage on the top of it. Okay, and here's the door as I walk in. And as I walk in, there's a little wall. I'd say it's 3 foot, maybe 3 foot. And then there is a doorway that goes into the kitchen to my right. Okay, we'll go in there in just a minute. But to the left of the door as you come in, there's a little area here. And this has sort of been my antique desk stuff. This is a desk that my husband refurnished for me many years ago when we first got married, and it's a special piece to me, and so I really like it. And then the water and pitcher bowl is something my mother gave me, so it is very special and has a lot of meaning. So I'll hang on to those things. Just straighten up my books here. That looks a little better. Those are antique books that I really like. When you turn to the right around the refrigerator, you'll notice there's a little microwave stand, and it's got our snacks, our potatoes, it's got a crock pot, you know, a radio, just odds and ends, and it's kind of just sticking right out here in the way. And you also notice here's a doorway that goes into the utility room. Now as I turn back to my left in the foyer, you'll see there's another door, and this goes into the utility closet. This had been covered with a curtain up until about 1.5 years ago when we built a wall and put the door in, which I'm much happier with it looking this way. It looks much better. Only odd thing about it that you'll find is there's a ceiling fan, and it's very close to that door. But at one time, remember, this was all open. And that fan in the summer really gives a lot of ventilation because this kitchen is very hot. And as I open this door, oh my, get ready. This is the water closet for the water heater. And it's junk. It's got cleaning supplies. It's got, a shelf with all kinds of stuff. You know, cleaning, mostly baking, junk. And then over this way, you'll notice it's got the electrical box. And it's kind of a mess. And that's why we keep it closed off, because this is not for human viewing. I don't want anybody else in here. It's pretty nasty. I've kept it clean a couple of days, but then I junk it right back up. So I'm not really worried about that. Okay, now back as we come in the carport door, when we turn to the right, here's that doorway that I was talking about. And you'll notice on this side, it's got a bank of cabinets on this side with the dishwasher underneath it. And then there's that crazy little door to the left of the dishwasher that's really non-usable. And then you pan over this way. And you'll notice that this is the window. There's a window. And this looks out into the family room. Now, at one time, before we built on the family room, this was the window outside, to the outside of the house. And there was a wooden deck right beside it. So it's totally changed. Okay, if you look at these cabinets, they were built in the 60s by the person that built this house. They restained them many years ago. And they look pretty good, just, you know, they were old. And then we took the doors off and I painted them white a couple of different times. And then we left the basic color, the frame of the brown, about the same. And I've been pretty happy with it. Outdated, but I've been happy with it. And we've changed the hardware a couple of times to kind of get it, you know, to try to make it look a little better. And you'll notice above the cabinets, there's a soffit. Nothing's up there. Okay. And if you notice, okay, we have two sinks. Okay. And I have a little window ledge there with pictures of my babies. Okay. And then this countertop goes around. And then it has these 3 shelves that I absolutely hate. They're dust catchers, and I never know what to put in them. The cabinets are, you know, they're not very useful. It's hard to get to. They don't pull out. They have this bank thing right here, and so you notice you can't get stuff. It gets right in the way of everything. So it's pretty hard to use that and use it well. And also same thing over here. You know, my glasses, you know, I can't move my shelves. They're set the way they are. You know, so I have to make do. In my kitchen upper cabinets in here, you'll notice my big dishes, they won't fit. I have to tilt them to get them out because of the space. So they're pretty outdated. A few years ago, we did put in a light over the bar to give us more light because this place is so dark. The countertops, again, when I moved in here 23 years ago, I guess, it had white laminate that was stained and didn't look too good. And so a couple years, that was in the late 90s, I guess, or no, I guess it was the mid 90s. The mauve pink, you know, and the dusty rose, or dusty rose and mauve pink's the same thing, and the blue were real popular. So I made the mistake of getting my countertop a laminate in that dusty rose. Well, here it is, 2016, and you can imagine it was pretty outdated. Now, it was in very good shape because I took care of it. There weren't that many nicks in it or anything of that nature, but it just looked horrible. So, my grandson's wife, Chelsea, she did this kit for me where you basically paint it black, and then you sponge paint 3 different colors to make it look like a fake granite. And actually, it's been about, it'll be 2 years in August, I'd say. And this is February the 6th. So, it's been here a year and a half. And you know, it's not done terrible. Now, you can tell it's not granite, but it looks pretty good, pretty convincing. Except when you go over to this corner, you can see where there's some wear. And it's going back to the pink laminate. So, very pretty, huh? But anyway, that's going to change. Okay, over on this side, we have the 3 bank of cabinets. I don't keep much on this side because this is kind of what I use as my prep area. And over here is the phone and, you know, some space. And then we keep a couple of chairs because this is where Larry and I eat at the majority of the time. We spend most of our time here. And then as I pan over here, this is a double door. Now these used to be French doors again that led to the outside. We have a little shelf over it that Larry built me that means a lot to me. And you scan back over this way. Here is the dining room. Okay, this is my mom's china cabinet, and it has her dishes in it, plus some other odds and ends, and it's very special to me. It doesn't exactly match my table, but it blends pretty well, and so I'm going to continue to use it. And we have a 6-chair kitchen table, dining room table that we bought when we first got married. And no, a couple years, I guess, after we got married. And I really like it. It's pretty. And then on the floor, you'll notice I have a laminate flooring. It looked pretty good the first few years, but not looking so great now. Okay, now let's go back and let's pan this side. Okay, this is another bank of 2 cabinets. And it goes right here. And then what used to be the living room is right beyond that. So here is the kitchen. Here is my stove. Double oven. Stainless steel and black stove with a stainless steel range thing, whatever you call that. Exhaust fan. And it looks pretty good. I like it. We're going to keep those pieces as we remodel. Okay, then over here is again the 2 little cabinets above the stove that you cannot get to. It has a vent, the vent pipe anyway, so it's kind of not very useful. And then if you go over here, it comes to a corner, and that cabinet on the right here that I'm pointing to, you really can't get to the back of it, so it's not very useful. And if you look down here, same thing. You can get to the front of the cabinets, but to the side, not useful at all. It doesn't have a lazy Susan or anything of that nature, so it's very hard to use. And I really have not been ever happy with it. Again, little drawer that you can't do a whole lot with. Okay, now over to this piece. This at one time when we moved in, or when I moved in rather, it had a refrigerator here. And we've had the refrigerator there, but it really doesn't give you much room. You can't pass by each other very well at all. You can't even with us moving the refrigerator again into that little hallway. It hasn't helped give us that much space, but a little bit. And if you notice this dresser, I use it for storage and decoration. Hi, I'm back here. But anyway, this was my grandmother's. And my grandmother died in 1973. And I figured this thing is well over 100 years old. Now my husband brought it home. It was dark. Brought it home and he's refinished it. That drawer is not pushed in, but it does. And it looks much better. But anyway, my husband refinished it for me. And it's been very important to me. And it's held a place of honor. And when we redo the kitchen, we're going to knock that wall out that you see behind the dresser. And we're going to knock the wall out that you see behind the dishwasher and make that all one opening, which will give us a little bit more room. And so this doorway will be no more. And I'm really excited about that. I have just tile. You know, it's not really expensive, but it's been pretty good tile for the most part. I do have a chip where a glass broke. That, of course, that's the first thing my eye goes to. And that continues on again into this room. We will have to pull all that up and throw it away and start all over. Now, I will probably leave this alone. I don't think I'll change it, so I'll try to get some kind of tile that matches close enough so that it doesn't look really terrible. Now, if you notice in this utility room, this is my laundry room. For a long time, I did not have that freezer there. And those 3 baskets for laundry looked very nice. And it has also the ironing board there. So I've been real happy with that. But that's not exactly my favorite, but I just don't have any other choice right now. I've moved my microwave on here. on this counter, and it's full. I love these. It's got a lot of storage. This is all my extra kitchen stuff. Because if you notice in the kitchen, there's really not very many good cabinets as far as storage. Anyway, we redid this and added this on about 2008. We finished it around 2008, almost the beginning, right, 2008. Beginning of 2009, I guess. Anyhow, so this is the laundry room. Not the most beautiful thing. There's a beautiful trash can. But here's my washer. And my, excuse me, that's my dryer. This is my washer. And then over here's another pantry. I don't use it as a pantry. I use it as storage. And this door opens and closes, which I wish I'd never put this here because it's just a pain to have that many doors that close together. But as you back up, you can see coming into the from the kitchen to the utility room. I'm going to have to spiff that up a little bit when I get my kitchen redone. So anyway, this is February the 16th, and I just, sorry, I panned around there pretty quick. I just wanted to give you a preview of the before, and I hope the after is going to be so much better. I know it's going to be a big expense, but I'm really looking forward to it. We hope, you know, one day that this is the old living room, but now we sort of use it as, this is the baby stuff, and then over here, get ready, toys, and then a few more toys. And this Victrola was my grandmother's on the other side of the family, and my mother meant a lot to her. Actually, it was her brother's. I take it back, it was her brother's. And so I hang on to it. It's not a piece that I love or even can really use, but I don't want to get rid of it. It means a lot to me. And then I pan around here, past these lovely toys that my beautiful grandchildren play with. And you'll notice that I have a big roll top desk. It is not, it's kind of unsightly. Not the prettiest thing you've ever seen. But I do love it. And it's very useful, and I spend a lot of time there. I'm thinking down the road that I hope to make what used to be the old living room into the dining room. And there's a front entrance that nobody uses. Again, my baby, Presley Quinn. That's her stuff. She's 7 months old, and she's very important to us. And I hope that one day that maybe I can take what's here and move it, take what's right here and move it to what's right there. I'll have to find a spot for my baby because she's still going to be little and she's still going to need that. But that's a project for down the road. So anyway, I just wanted to document what the before was. And I hope the after, it's going to be something very special. I know one thing that I'm going to have to do, and that is I'm going to have to get rid of some junk because I have too much. As you walk in this room, this is the family room. Right now you cannot tell that my house looks too good because I have baby stuff all over. And kids, we use our house. You know, we have kids and grandkids and they come and they visit and they're here, and that's what I want them to be. So it's not a show place. I wish it could be a little nicer, but you know, we've got two chairs, 3, 4 couches. So we can accommodate quite a few people in here. There's our fireplace, our gas fireplace. And this is Larry's spot that he hangs out in. And this is my chair, but I very rarely, if ever, sit there. And then this is the back part. Let me turn on some lights. See if that helps a little. It'll give you a little bit of light. Okay, this is an old secretary that was Larry's grandmother's. Now, I don't know where she got it from. No, I take that back. That's Larry's mother's. Larry's mother's secretary. So it's not my favorite, but we hang on to it. And this sofa table right here that I'm going to turn around. Now this was Larry's grandmother's. And so that means a lot to him. Not my favorite, but you know, it means something to him, and that's what counts. Okay. And then here are French doors that go out to a very small deck. And if I thought about it longer and harder, we'd have made a much bigger deck. But when you're remodeling or putting an addition on your house rather, it's pretty costly, so sometimes you have to cut costs someplace. So that's one of the things that we did, and it's all worked out. All right, this concludes. There's the baby stroller. Doesn't everybody have a baby stroller in their family room? If you don't, you should. Okay, that concludes the tour of our house, or the part that I wanted to show you. Actually, I didn't even show you this. I was just showing the kitchen and the utility room and the dining room because I wanted to document before and after. And so that was really what I intended to do. But as usual, everything I do is a little more long-winded. Okay, thanks for watching.